It is a Line Night Drive. It is Wednesday. I'm here. Nathan
Seamless
DeHaan
transition.
And that beautiful transition was brought to you by Tati Perry today. She's filling in for Alex because he has an exam. Tommy Polson is not here because he has car trouble and he wants to go home on Friday. So he's taking care of that.
Boo.
It's fine. He got a good streak on. He made, what, 2 shows in a row? Three
almost.
shows in a row?
Maybe 3
He
even?
almost made it 2 whole weeks before missing it.
But we were just asking too much at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it was that's on us for expecting that from him.
No kidding.
But but it's me and Nathan today, and Tati will maybe talk. We'll see if we can force her to today. Probably not, though. But what do you want to lead off with, Nathan? Football or basketball?
Basketball.
Basketball.
I want to recap what we saw yesterday.
All right, go for it, man. It's your party. Do what you want.
All right. If it's my party, then I'll start off and say that I think that there's something needs to change in the starting rotation.
Okay. I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
I think Aaron Jordan needs to sit on the bench.
Okay, I thought you were going to go with Kippur.
No, I'm mad at Aaron Jordan right now.
See,
a starting wing player for you goes 0 for 4 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3-point, even though he's supposed to be a 3-point shooter and only gets 1 point off a free throw. I mean, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. He doesn't look like a starting Big Ten guard right now. And I know that you go into that game, you don't have Trent Frazier, so you don't have that outside shooting, and it shows because we go 6 from 19 from outside.
Right.
And we could really use it because our guards every time they would go inside, they would just get outbodied, and the Georgetown is just so long. I mean, that was one thing I noticed immediately about Trey Mourning was I was like, wow, those long arms.
Yeah.
So it felt like the entire offensive game plan was drive, and then once we got inside the paint, it was just, okay, let's hope we get a foul, or the guards were going up against a bunch of 6'10", 6'11", 7-foot rim protectors. So I felt like there was no offensive creativity, and I think Aaron Jordan's got to sit on the bench. I think we keep Feliz in there, and then once Trent's back, you run with those 3, kind of just running small ball 3 guards.
See, the thing with Aaron Jordan is, and actually Brad Underwood talked about this a little bit in his press conference, is that I think Jordan needs Trent Frazier to be successful. I think he needs Trent's ability to draw a defense to him, to be able to get into the inside and kick it out and create those opportunities, because Aaron Jordan just wasn't getting the same opportunities that he usually gets with Trent out there. But also, we saw this happen last year when Aaron Jordan got inserted in the starting lineup, and the team suffered a little bit rather than when he was on the bench. So I think he's better suited to be that 6th man, that sharpshooter off the bench, rather than a starting role contributor. And I think that we are probably going to see that because De La Rosa played, and it was very short. He didn't play that much, only a couple minutes, but he played 6 minutes, and just the fact that he's out there now and you're getting him in the game in your second game of the season when you didn't expect to have him till December is a good sign, and you know he's going to start. So once Adonis gets back to that conditioning where he can start and be out there for long periods of time, I think you slide Georgie to the 4, Kippur to the 3, and then roll with Trent and Io, and then keep bringing Feliz and then Jordan off the bench. And I think that's your rotation.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, I remember you made the comment at the beginning about how that's such a big lineup, and it looked like yesterday we could have used a big lineup because Georgetown having Pickett and Mourning really, or not Pickett, Govan, Mourning, just like stand and be their low post defense, and it was. I feel like every single time I saw Feliz, I saw Io go up. Both of them, one of them was right there. There were so many times that it could have been a call on some of the times that they went up, and maybe you get a foul there underneath. Saw a lot of nice. I mean, I loved the up and under that Io was able to pull off and taking hits. I mean, Io
was also 6'5", 6'6". So I mean, Feliz is in there and he's among trees. Like that's a lot different.
Yeah,
Feliz is a lot smaller player, and Io obviously is ultra talented as we saw last night because he scored 25 and had contributions across the board. But yeah, I mean, something needs to change. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be something said about it's still early and they're still figuring a lot of things out. But I think once De La Rosa's back, you slide Georgie to the 4, Kippur to the 3, and then you roll with that because I do think Aaron Jordan is best suited off the bench.
That's my main takeaway. Liked what I saw at Demonte Williams. Liked what I saw at Georgie. Obviously, Io 25, 3 for 4 from downtown. That's fantastic. You got to make your free throws. You can't be shooting 70% from the free throw line. All the starters went 1 for 2, other than Io, who hit all 4 that he went up there and took. Georgetown, and it was a closer game than 88-80.
Georgetown went on a 7-0 run in the last 39 seconds, so that kind of pulled it away.
All free throws and us not being able to make anything. And then the Kippur situation. Like, I don't know where I stand on it, but from where I was sitting, I was like in the 100 level, kind of diagonally. I was directly behind the 3-pointer that Kippur just bricked so bad. And we saw it come out of his hands, and we immediately were like, oh my God, that's so far left.
Yeah.
So like other than the fact that it hits the bottom of the backboard, it was like left into the bottom of the backboard. And it wasn't close. It wasn't close. And that's one small snapshot example of the game. But like, there was some great from Kippur, and there was some really bad from Kippur. Because defensively, I thought Kippur did a really good job there at the end with the takeaways, and almost got one back right after he misses the 3. But I think you're still looking for more, though.
Yeah, I mean, Kippur was supposed to be a big contributor to this team this year, especially after last year that he flashed he could take that next step with those big games against Michigan State, and I forget who the other one was against. But where he scored like 25 plus, and he showed his athleticism and that he could rebound and do all these things. And to his credit, he did have 3 assists. He did have a block, a steal, and 5 rebounds too. But he also fouled out of the game, and he made a couple questionable decisions. He rushed 2 threes and bricked them. That turnover that McClung took for that ridiculous dunk.
Sweet dunk.
Yeah.
I remember somebody asked today, I was in the kitchen, somebody asked while they were eating, they're like, oh, how'd McClung play? And somebody went like, oh, like really well. And I was like, yeah, like not like really well. He just had a sweet up and under.
A couple flashy plays.
Sweet up and under, and then he had a reverse dunk on us. He went 0 for 4 from downtown.
Yeah.
He didn't really do what he can do, 12 points as opposed to the 4 he had in the previous game. But I mean, This is a winnable Illinois game, and
this was very winnable.
And the thing is that there was like a 75%, 80% attendance at State Farm Center. It sort of started to dwindle once you got up there, but it was a pretty packed house for an early game against Georgetown, and you put yourself in a position to win at the end, and Kippur goes up with a left-handed layup at the end that he just misses the layup. That it would have been a go-ahead layup with around 45 seconds left. And, I hate to keep using small examples of Kippur and small examples of this team, but it felt like it came down to just doing a few things wrong.
Yeah.
And that's what cost you the entire game.
Yeah, it was just a couple things, and a lot of those were just minute details. But I think if you have Trent Frazier, you win this game.
I agree.
Because, and Underwood said this in his press conference too, that the threat of Trent to score 30, the threat for Trent to just pull up and put one in, and shoot one in your face, and just what he does as a passer too. He also said that Illinois didn't get some charges that Trent would have either sold or gotten, because that's something he's really good at. Because through the exhibition and the first game against Evansville, Trent already has drawn 5 charges, which is pretty good. So I think if you have him, you win this game. It takes some pressure off Io, because I think Io was pressing at the end. He felt like, all right, I got to win this game. And I think eventually you'll get there with Io where he'll be able to do that. But I think second game of the season, that's a lot to ask of him. But yeah, this was a winnable game. And now obviously it's suboptimal to not really throw this one away, but let this one slip away. And when you're going to the Maui tournament and you're going to play Gonzaga and Duke and Arizona and even Iowa State, and you're facing some stiff competition. But I think the overall perception of this team is positive, because there were still a lot of good things to take away from last night, namely Io.
Yeah.
Like I said, 25 points, 3 for 4 from 3-point line, still had a rebound and assist, 2 steals. So shout out to Tommy, because Tommy did say that. Tommy said this feels like a game that Io could go off, because he's going to be going up against McClung, and he wants to show out, and he did.
He started that first half on fire, and then in the second half, once he had the back-to-back threes, like that's when you started being like, okay, like this guy's a real deal.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that I don't know if we touched on this that much going forward, but Io isn't necessarily like, he didn't come in to be like a really strong shooting guard. He came to be like an all-around guard. I think also he likes being off the ball more. There was a possession I remember that Io didn't even come back to the ball after a Georgetown bucket, that eventually Demonte came trotting down the court, and he sort of like ran the offense through him. I think Io likes slashing off the ball more so than handling it himself. Obviously gets 25 as like the primary guard last night, but I think that him and Frazier relationship is going to be like they both complement each other in that aspect.
I agree. I think Frazier's definitely the more gifted passer. And yeah, I think Io plays better off the ball, but I think, like you said, he's an all-around guy, so I think he can play on the ball, but he's definitely best suited off ball. So obviously, once Frazier comes back and he has a week to get through concussion protocol and get back for that first big game against Gonzaga, that's going to be huge. But I mean, you got to be really excited about Io going forward because he's ramping it up slowly. So once he's like fully 100% going, which I'm assuming will be against the number 3-4 team in the nation.
Sure. That's
going to be really fun to watch.
Yeah, I think he's the kind of player that is dynamic enough that if all of a sudden he puts things on his back and things start falling for him, we can surprise teams with just the Io effect. And then once teams start focusing on him, dish out Frazier, Jordan once he starts figuring out his three-point shooting. Like this team, like yes, the outlook is still very positive. It's just a bummer that in a season that we know that you can't lose the ones that you can't lose if you want to make a tournament, if you want to make noise on this campus, it's tough to see this one go.
Yeah,
because it felt like it was there in the last minute. It felt like you at least were.
It was there. Yeah. You had an opportunity to win it. But I think there's still a lot of good things to take away from this team, from this game, and I think going forward, there's a lot to like. I mean, I really liked what I saw from Demonte too. I think he had a really strong night. He only took 4 shots, but he made 3 of them to tie a career high with 11 points. But he had 2 assists, and he had that one huge block at the end. I mean, which was the very authoritative block. I mean, he took that thing almost to the center of the earth. And then he had 4 steals too. I mean, he does a lot of things really well. I mean, he talk about all-around players. I think Demonte's one of them. I mean, he's kind of a glue guy.
Yeah, and like you brought up, the maybe eventual plan, at least in our idea, is to have a De La Rosa at the 5, which is eventually going to kick probably Jordan to the bench. Yeah. I think Jordan and Demonte are going to be our key rotational guys off the bench. I mean, like when
Feliz
and Feliz once Frazier comes back in there too. And I like what I've seen out of. I mean, obviously, I'm not super satisfied with what I've seen out of Jordan already because I want to take him out of the starting lineup, but to the point that, he's still a senior that's been here for so long and has that leadership, and he is a good defender. I will give him that. But I can't, there's just so many positives. Last night you hit a few more shots, you shoot better from the line, you don't make some mistakes, you make a layup that you really need to make to go ahead in the last minute of the game. Then, who knows, we may be talking about an entirely different game, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to go forward and continue with this. But, I mean, even though they lost, Illinois basketball did get some huge news right before the game started with the commitment of Antoine January, who is 6'11" and 240 pounds. He's a 4-star big man. That's huge, I mean, for them for next year, for the next 4 years. I mean, he's pretty good, and he fills a position of need.
Exactly, especially with Aldonis being a grad transfer that we're not going to have next year. And so Georgie's obviously in the plans. He's a freshman that's showing us good things already. Sam McCain, I don't know really what the plan is. Yeah, he didn't play a single minute last night, so I don't really know what going forward the coaching staff is thinking with him. But yeah, add January into the mix of things, and right there you have a big man, which is so huge for a team that was so guard heavy.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at a potential lineup next year of Io, Trent, Demonte, January, and Georgie. Or Kippur, I guess.
I was like,
Kippur would probably still
Kipper's still
start.
Probably the 3 or 4.
So that makes sense. But, I mean, that's a relatively young team and very talented.
Yeah, that is something, we could talk about the future of this season, but I think the seasons to come, like Frazier's junior and senior year, we can start talking about, a team that has played together for so long that is going to start to have this chemistry and have see all this young talent actually come to fruition rather than be promised young talent. One player ends up working out and then sort of trying to fill holes I feel like we have been since sort of like the Brandon Paul and Malcolm Hill. Like Brandon Paul and Malcolm Hill, I feel like those teams were kind of just led by the Brandon Paul and the Malcolm Hill, and it wasn't.
Even last year it was Trent Frazier pretty much.
Yeah. It was Trent Frazier and flashes of Kippur Nichols every now and then.
And LeVeon Black.
Yeah, LeVeon Black.
No, you're right. I mean,
I loved watching LeVeon Black. I loved watching LeVeon. I was so sad to see him go.
Yeah.
But got to do what you got to do.
You do. And you're right. This team is like they definitely have the components to be a really cohesive unit, which could be really exciting to watch in the future. All right, we'll do a quick break, then we'll pivot to Illinois football. So we'll break it up first, but we'll do a quick break, and Tati's going to make a seamless transition again, and then we'll talk about Illinois football a little bit when we come back. And welcome back to Illini Drive. As promised, we did a short break so that we could come back and talk about super exciting matchup against Iowa for Illinois football. Woo! Yeah, the quest for 5 wins. We're really excited.
Against Iowa?
Tati, you're going to be there. So how do you feel? How you feeling? Feeling good?
I think my press box shenanigans will start relatively early.
Like what? What do you have?
What does that mean?
What do you have? What do you have in mind?
When I get bored, Jake knows this. When I get bored in the press box, which when we start losing, it tends to happen. I don't.
So like the third quarter.
I feel like it'll be a first quarter situation this time. I feel like they're really gonna let me down early.
A Purdue situation.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be just you and Gavin. You and Gavin Good, right?
He's gonna kill me. I'm gonna be so annoying.
Yeah, because I won't be there because Thanksgiving break starts. Eli won't be there, I'm assuming.
He's on the fence.
Is he really?
He's not going to be there.
No,
that's
no
to be fair, and he's not
so.
going to be here.
Yeah, let's be realistic.
Well, yeah. I don't feel good about this game. I'm happy I won't be there.
Only thing that gives me hope is Iowa's on a 3-game losing streak, and then I looked back at it. It was a 6-point loss to number 17 Penn State, a 2-point loss at Purdue, and then most recent the 4-point loss against Northwestern. So even these losses, I mean,
they're not bad losses.
Yeah, they're not bad losses. They're not getting blown out. They caught Purdue on one of Purdue's good days. Northwestern can't lose against a Big Ten opponent, and you lose to a ranked Penn State. So then you come to Champaign, where W's are served on a platter sometimes.
Unfortunately, that is, yeah. I mean, Nathan, you brought it up. The only thing that really works in their favor is that 3-game losing streak. It is senior day for Illinois, so they'll be saying goodbye to Nick Allegretti, A.J. Bush, Mike Dudek, Zach Holman, Sam Mays, Chase McLaughlin, Shaden Metters, Delshawn Phillips, and Austin Roberts.
Saying goodbye to Mikey Dudek is just...
Yeah, it's going to sting.
It's going to hurt a lot.
I mean, Allegretti, too. I mean...
Yeah. Well, but Allegretti, he's been such a presence this whole time, and has been a great leader for the Illini.
He's awesome to talk to, too.
Yeah, I love hanging out with Nick Allegretti.
The problem is real close.
We're actually in the same business fraternity.
Hang out a lot. Are you really? Okay.
Yeah.
I take it back.
Yeah.
You are really close.
Check yourself before
That's
you wreck yourself. But Mike Dudek, we had an amazing freshman year, and then we never got to see really any fruition, and then we have to say goodbye to him, even though we kept him around as long as possible.
Right.
Tear.
Yeah, that was good. Crocodile tears there.
Yeah.
But he got 2 degrees, so there's that.
Yeah. 2 degrees and 2 busted knees. That's how it goes, right?
Yikes.
Wow, that's like the headline right there. You got a good rhyme.
And they don't let me write here.
There's a reason. That's imagine if you have 2 busted knees and you open up the newspaper. That was the headline.
Listen, I didn't say it was heartwarming, okay?
Yeah. We just deliver the cold hard news here.
Yeah.
That's what our show is known for.
Dudek would probably laugh. He's like, yeah, actually. That's what happened.
He would hold his 2 degrees, look down at his knees, look up.
Makes sense.
And then he'd respond, he'd go 2.5 for broken knees.
Oh no. Anyway, moving on. We still don't know the status of Reggie Corbin, who would really be your only hope in this game. He's currently 13th on the Illinois rushing single season rushing list. He's only like 50 behind number 10, I think, something like that. So he's really close to passing a couple other people. But
is there potential for Corbin to enter into the NFL draft? I know there's potential. Do you think he does it?
So we talked a little bit about this on Monday. I don't think he does because he's now seen and experienced what Rod Smith does for him. You expect to be a better team next year with most of your offensive line still staying intact, and then hopefully having better quarterback play so that they can't they being teams, key in on the run as much. And I mean, granted, they've been keying on the run all year, and Reggie's still run for over 1,000 yards. But I mean, I think he does because, it's like, and Tommy brought up the point that I mean, right now he's probably a 4th or 5th round pick. Maybe?
Yeah, I was reading something the other day, and I was trying to figure out where they thought he was going to go. I didn't even know. I didn't even know 4th or 5th round. I think that's a little optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, it's even. I don't really look at mock drafts anymore because the Bears don't even have a 1st round pick. But yeah, I mean, I think at best he's a 5th round pick. So I think if he does this again next year, I think he's pushing 4th or 3rd round. And I think if he could do this again, and I mean, he's been relatively healthy all year outside of this injury now. I think he does stay because I think they can sell him on, all right, next year, like we're getting a couple guys, we're getting Isaiah Williams, we're getting Marquez, like we're getting a couple guys that we can help you, like these guys can help you make the offense better. Hopefully the defense is a little better. And even if it's not, like you still will have the volume to have another 1,000-yard season and increase your stock more. I think Rod Smith would cry if he left.
Yeah, I think I'd cry if he left. I'd have to, go through this whole thing again where I have to talk myself into believing of the positivity of Illinois football rather than seeing with my own eyes what I can look forward to the next season. I don't think he leaves either. But I think, like you said, if he goes and has another season like this where maybe he enters the top 10 Illinois rushing list again on the seasons in. All right.
Single season.
Yeah. Single season rushing list for U of I. Then, I mean, yeah, you can talk about this is a consistent running back. I was talking with somebody today about the LeVeon Bell situation and whether or not they felt it was right or wrong for him. And all of us sort of agreed, I don't really know where we stand on it. But the thing is, like, you can't just keep franchise tagging a running back because of how short their careers are in the NFL.
Right.
I mean, you can have a standout running. My favorite example to go to is Doug Martin, who was an absolute need RB1 for fantasy football for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then since then, right now, he's the backup running back on the Raiders. That is just where careers. That's where running back careers are in the NFL. You're up or you're down. All of a sudden, you have a great week. All of a sudden, you have an amazing year, and there's no consistency unless you are in that upper echelon of running backs.
Right.
And I think Reggie Corbin, if he shows the consistency, you can preach to NFL GMs. I relatively obviously this injury now, but I stay healthy and I get yards. So let's talk brass tacks.
What?
I don't know. It's saying let's talk money. All right.
Sure. No, I think he comes back, but I mean, still talking about this game, I think you still start AJ, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it on Monday.
Yeah,
There's no reason to throw MJ out there and
you
risk
ride
anything.
you ride out the AJ Bush Jr. train.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well. There's 2 games. It's senior day. Might as well let him play. Is there any way they win this game?
Yes.
No.
All right, discuss.
Iowa's run offense is terrible.
Run offense?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, Illinois' run defense is terrible.
Right. Something's got to give.
In the worst way.
So the way I see it, Illinois' rush attack is great. Iowa's rush defense is great. I saw this somewhere, so I can't even take credit for this. And then Illinois' rush defense is not great, and Iowa's rush offense is not great. So if somehow things cancel each other out and Illinois ends up being the one that surprises the really good defense rather than Iowa having a surprisingly good day against Illinois, there's a chance we win. Do I think we win? No.
Yeah.
Okay, on the other side of that, Iowa has a not good offense, but we have a bad defense. And I feel like they don't cancel out. They don't even out. And
an arguably worse defense.
Their defense is just so beautiful to watch. And our offense is great. They are. But their defense is better. So they're
ranked for a reason.
Yeah. So nice try.
Yeah, then again, they
really uplifting, Tati. Thank you.
they shut out a team that we lost 230 by. So
yep, correct.
I don't think we win. You want to just do scores and change topics?
Sure, let's do that. Okay, I think Illinois loses this game 42-17.
Yeah, I'm gonna go somewhere along those same lines. I'm gonna say that this is a 38 to 20 loss.
Tati.
I'm going to say more in the 45 to 21 range.
All right, good optimism. Really good. Good job, guys. All right. What do you want to do, Nathan? It's up to you.
Up to me.
You pick, yeah. I always pick.
All right, well, All right. You want to do a little short story? That way we can do a little break and then come back.
Story?
A short topic.
Sure.
So we can come back because this is something that we missed on Monday with how much we ended up talking about what we did
with your awful Aaron Rodgers takes. Yes.
Yeah, that's debatable. Butler to 76ers.
Yes.
I think it's a gamble of a lifetime for the 76ers. Because you have a legitimate big three right now with a pass-first point guard, an all-star wing, and a presence down the way, a one of the better centers in the NBA right now. That is a complete big three.
You're saying Jimmy gives them a big three?
Yes.
Okay.
What I'm saying also, though, is you're banking on two alpha dogs, two locker room, not necessarily. I don't know about Embiid in the locker room, and even Butler in a press conference said that he didn't think that he was an issue with the Timberwolves locker room. But we've heard from a lot of people that they just don't get along with. Yeah, Jimmy Butler obviously thinks that about himself.
Right.
Jimmy Butler just doesn't get along with a lot of people, and you're relying on I think that if this works right away, that we could look at a potential dynasty. If it doesn't work, and some of the cracks start to show, we could look at a disaster in the 76ers. What is the only thing that's good for them? They really didn't give up that much to get Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, I mean, they gave up a good player in Saric, which is fine, but I mean,
Covington has upside.
Yeah, but Jimmy Butler's an established top 17, 15 maybe player.
Yeah, I'd say 15
in that round.
I could be
in
on
that
board with
realm. So I mean, you know what you get with him. I mean, you can hope that Covington and Saric continue to develop, but you know what you have with Jimmy. He has expressed interest that he wants to sign long term, so that makes sense. I just think that Jimmy's an alpha dog, and he needs to be the guy on the court at least. And I think that plays nice with Embiid and Simmons because Simmons is pass first, so that works. And Embiid, I feel like just his personality and how he is, like he's still going to get his touches,
sure,
and he's still going to get his opportunities. I think that he'll play nice with them, and just Embiid is like this goofy guy, like wants to make everything work, and he knows what the Sixers have. Whereas in Minnesota, Jimmy Butler was trying to make it work with Andrew Wiggins, who has not lived up to his potential as a number one pick yet, and Karl Anthony Towns, who was also number one pick, but is still trying to grow into it. And Jimmy was just didn't trust them, I feel like, because they hadn't established themselves yet. So Jimmy was like, all right, I got to do everything here, and wasn't letting them grow as players. Whereas he goes to Philadelphia, Simmons is established, Embiid's established. Really, the only unknown is Fultz, and he's whatever.
And he's still figuring out how to shoot a basketball.
But I think if you upset him, it doesn't matter because he knows that, okay, I'm not very good right now, so I don't really have room to talk. So I feel like that plays nice because Jimmy goes, all right, these guys are established, veteran stars, I can respect this. I know what they can give me, whereas with Wiggins and Towns, they were very inconsistent.
I just don't know because I don't think that we have anything to show us how Embiid is going to react to a player like Butler because I feel like the Sixers, everything that they put around Embiid as they sort of grew and developed around him was very much like they didn't have to have the ball in their hands all the time to really, play their best game. Whereas Jimmy Butler obviously, needs to get his and is going to look out to get his. And so that's why I think Embiid always got his no matter what you added around him. And now that you do add Butler, I wonder if Embiid feels like it's starting to get a little bit taken away because with Simmons and with Fultz and with JJ Redick and with the Dario Saric even, there was guys that knew, in our best 76ers at our best is having the ball in Embiid's hand low post or having him face up on another big defender. Whereas now, adding in Jimmy Butler, I'm very much looking forward to his first game of the Sixers. I think there's potential.
Right it's
happening right now.
Yeah, I just saw a video of someone on the Magic shooting a free throw and then Jimmy going in for the handshake too, or the high five or whatever, and somebody goes, yeah, he's gonna fit in right with Embiid because that's a very Embiid thing to do.
That's true.
No, I think the Sixers will be fine, and I think if Embiid wasn't ready to share the floor or the spotlight with someone, he wouldn't have recruited guys like Paul George and LeBron this summer.
Yeah.
So I feel like he knows him and Simmons can't do it alone.
Do you think? And say he has intention of signing long term. How do you feel about the 76ers bringing a championship to Philadelphia in the next 5 years?
Like on 1 to 10 confidence?
Sure. We'll do 1 to 10.
7. Yeah, 7.
Pretty good, but that also depends on that.
Pretty good, but I recognize that the Celtics are going to be around for a while, and that the Bucks aren't going anywhere, and even the Pacers are kind of have something going now too.
And if Kawhi ends up liking Toronto,
right? If Kawhi ends up staying, even the Bulls are looking like they're starting to get some stuff together that they could be relevant.
Don't put the Bulls in that conversation.
I'm saying within 5 years.
We haven't seen anything to make us say that the Bulls could be championship contenders.
It looks like they could be potentially putting pieces together at least. So I think,
and also that's just ignoring the West in its
correct.
entirety.
That's ignoring the Warriors. Eventually, the Lakers are going to put something together.
Right.
That's ignoring the Jazz, the Rockets. So. Yeah, 7, I think it's pretty good, but obviously it's sports and anything can happen. I think they could easily win 0 championships in 5 years.
On the topic of the West, do we think that there's going to be any long-term issue with this whole Draymond Green having an issue?
Oh,
with
Durant's
the Warriors?
gone.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You're that confident just like that? Did you see the video where apparently it said, like, that's why I'm out?
Yep. That's exactly, yeah. I don't know how true that is.
I'm not great at lip reading. I'm not going to pretend I am. I couldn't say for sure that's what he said.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think he's gone. Because I think if the general feel around the league wasn't that he was leaving, that you wouldn't have teams like the Knicks or teams like, I mean, anyone, like, because you've been seeing these teams already start recruiting him. And I think that wouldn't be happening already if the general feeling wasn't that there was a chance he leaves, or a good chance he leaves. Because, I mean, that could have happened any time because he's been declining those options and just accepting essentially 1-year deals to get paid more and stay in Golden State. So I feel like teams are now like, okay, there's something
after this season, Durant's gone.
I think so.
Do you think that this locker room issue causes a problem for their quest to three-peat?
No.
You think they still do?
No.
You still
rings and championships still trump everything in the end.
Like, but I'm saying, like, there's not going to be so much bickering and so much whatever that it causes on-court issues, and then the team doesn't look as good as they should.
No, I think they'll figure it out because, again, like, they'll be like, all right, we're a good team, but we need to, like, play together if we want to get another ring before. I mean, because Clay's a free agent too, Draymond's a free agent, so it might be their last chance to do this, like, and be on this super team together. So I think that'll win out in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way with Golden State going forward. I don't know if I think Durant's totally gone yet, but I think something happens this offseason for sure with that whole core 4, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, I think if Durant goes to the Lakers, that'd be wild.
Oh my goodness! The thing is, I can see it happening so vividly, so quickly.
But I mean, we also said that with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, but how quick? But Paul George and Kawhi Leonard didn't have a history of going to the team that looked poised to win championships already.
To going where it's convenient.
To leave a team that already has that's beef or whatever you want to call it in division with your team and just up ship and go to that better team over there. Durant and LeBron in the same team. Recruit one more free agent in the offseason.
You might not even need another one. It's 2 top 5 guys.
I mean, yeah.
They got Kawhi.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, that was short. We'll take another break. When we come back, Cy Young was announced. That was awesome. The Rookie of the Year awards were announced. There was some controversy there, but we'll get into that, some NFL stuff right after the break. Tati gave us that seamless transition. Yeah, Tati figured out how to fade out. How do you feel?
I'm going to be so much more fancy now.
You're going to start fading us when she doesn't want to hear us talk.
Oh, nobody needs to hear this. Good job, Tati. Really proud of you that 3 months into your job, you figured out how to fade out.
Okay, wow.
Anyway, let's talk some MLB awards real quick. Rookie of the Year was announced on Monday. We didn't get to talk about it. Shohei Ohtani won over Miguel Andujar to the fury of Yankees fans. And Ronald Acuna Jr. won over Juan Soto.
We did touch on this in the last show because Tommy rolled his eyes saying that he thought that either one of the Yankees rookies should have won. But no,
then we convinced him otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, well, I don't know if we totally convinced him, but I think I saw a tweet that you recently mentioned was that the fact that he pretty much out-hit the two Genki guys we were talking about for the most part, and also threw a few solid innings for the time. For the time that he was healthy enough to throw. I mean, right there, that's Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, because what Andujar did was good. What Torres did was good. What Ohtani did was historic. Like, that will forever be remembered. So even if he never throws another pitch or takes another at bat or chooses one side or the other, that will forever be remembered. Especially now, so because he won Rookie of the Year. So, I mean, that says all you need to know. But okay, I forgot we did talk about that. Cy Young was tonight though, and Blake Snell won for the AL, beating out Corey Kluber, Justin Verlander, Chris Sale, and Garrett Cole. I think that was the right choice, personally. Snell was unbelievable. He had a sub-2 ERA. And I know wins and losses don't really matter. I personally loathe that stat.
He had 21 wins, though.
He had 21 wins. It led the league, which is really good. He was 119% better than the rest of the league, than the league average. That's pretty good.
By what statistical measure?
By ERA plus.
Okay.
So what 100 is average, and he was at 219, which also led the league.
Wow.
He also struck out 11 per 9, allowed the fewest hits per 9. He was unbelievable. The knock against him was that he only threw 180 innings, which is fine and dandy, but I mean, the way that the Rays are and how they use their bullpen, 180 innings on the Rays is a lot.
Okay.
Because the Rays messed around with the idea of the opener this year, and with putting the relievers in like the third or fourth inning rather than waiting late in game. So Snell was really impressive. I didn't think he was going to win. I thought he should have. I thought Verlander was going to get it because he threw 214 innings and led the league in strikeouts. But I'm happy Snell got it. I mean, it was deserved. 1.89 ERA is unbelievable.
Yeah. And then jumping over to the National League side, Jacob deGrom wins the National League MVP, or Cy Young Award, excuse me. I mean,
he might win MVP too.
He could win MVP.
I'm not gonna lie.
There's debate. There was debate about DeGrom all season because of his terrible win-loss record. He only won 10 games and yada yada. It was all because of just how terrible the Mets were. If the Mets allowed less than 4 runs on every single one of his starts, he would have never lost.
Yep. He would have been 30-0.
There's a stat, there's a tweet out there that you can go find that he would have won this many games if they would have allowed 0 runs, this many games they would have allowed 1. Like, he never let up more than 4 runs in any single one of his starts. He had it wasn't like he was throwing a lack of innings either. He was throwing as many innings as the rest of the guys up for the NL Cy Young, and his ERA was a freaking 1.70. That's wild. That is the lowest in baseball among qualified starters and 6th lowest in MLB since they lowered the mound height in 1969.
Yeah, and in 76 innings pitched against playoff teams, DeGrom had a 1.3 ERA. In 2018, he had a 2.09 ERA in games that he did not get a win.
The people, the old timers that are going to really put a lot of stock into win-loss might, whine and complain about DeGrom winning it, but anybody that just statistically understands the numbers he put up this season should tip their cap to Jacob deGrom, fully deserving of the NL Cy Young.
Please get him off the Mets.
Yes, that too. Give that man a home.
Yeah, please. I mean, that was it hurt my heart to see those stats that he would have been unbeaten if his team had just scored 4 or 5 runs. It hurts, and the Mets are not getting any better, but it's fine. Everything's fine. We still have no Bryce Harper news to report, so that's cool. And that's definitely going to take all the way up until like December, and that's going to hurt too.
I saw a picture of Theo Epstein. He was photoshopped into looking like Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. So that pretending that he was just like whispering in people's ears saying like, oh, Bryce is going to go to the Phillies. Oh, he's going to go to the Cardinals. Just so that, I like the analogy pretty much. Being the Game of Thrones fan that I am, I liked the analogy.
And you remember what happened to Littlefinger at the end, though.
All right. Speaking of Game of Thrones, that 30-second trailer that came out, was it yesterday or this morning?
Yesterday.
Oh, it was.
No,
I think it was today.
It was this morning.
I think it was today. It was just like every best scene from every season, all compiled into 30 seconds.
It was this morning because I had just had an exam and it was 11 o'clock in the morning and I was ready to run through a brick wall.
Oh, yeah.
It was amazing.
I saw your tweet and then I immediately went to it and then I sat there as I was waking up and I was like,
the crazy part is they didn't even. So the whole thing was we're back to TV again. Anyway.
Who cares?
Yeah. The thing is, they didn't even show anything new. It was all
old.
all old stuff, but it said more shocking moments, all the deaths, all the betrayals, and it was all for the throne. And I was so hyped.
All for the throne is such a good tagline.
For the throne is a great hashtag, especially because you might not even get someone sitting on the throne at the end, which is so amazing.
That's what's crazy is all the buildup has finally led us to know that this is the last season, and for once, like this whole thing is gonna like either I imagine come to an end, and like somebody's going to be the king, queen of Westeros at the end, and like. This is what we imagine. I mean, this is obviously what we think's going to happen, and sit on the Iron Throne, and like it is just going to be like it's just going to be the first transition of power we've actually seen. Oh, it's going to be so dope.
So good. I'm also just happy that it's finally set in stone in April, because I was afraid we weren't going to get it till like June or July.
I was very worried for July. April is way earlier than I expected.
Yeah, but also like that is terrible news for my productivity at the end of the semester, because in March we get Captain Marvel
and March Madness.
Things.
March Madness as a whole.
In April, now we get the Start of Thrones. And in May, we get Avengers 4.
Jeez.
So the end of my semester is...
It's going to be hard to study for.
Potentially going to be not that great.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried.
I'm just going to have to like get everything done by whenever it is, 5 o'clock on Sundays and literally brick in my schedule and say like nothing other than Game of Thrones.
16-week semester. I'm gonna have all of my work done by week 11.
Yeah, just so I can watch Game of Thrones and March Madness and
TV.
Yada.
That was a short pop culture segment for us.
That was nice. When we can hit NFL for the last 10 minutes.
Let's do it.
I'll hit on my Packers real quick. They have a matchup against Seattle on Thursday in Seattle, going to the Hawks' Nest. Packers versus Seattle has not fared too kindly for the Packers in the past few years. I think we have one win against them in 4 or 5 matchups. Two of those being the Fail Mary and the NFC Championship game, which Brandon Bostwick thought he could catch onside kicks rather than let it go to Jordy Nelson, who was sitting there waiting for it. Ugh. Oh well. Here comes this team. I don't know if you want to call it an underperforming Seattle Seahawks team, because we knew this team really wasn't the caliber of Seahawks team we've seen in the past. But you could probably say underperforming Packers team. I think this has huge playoff implications for both teams. I mean, right now the Packers are looking to get in on a wild card if things keep going the way that they're going, and the Seahawks are obviously definitely going to need to do that, with the Rams probably locking in the NFC West. Packers are 4-4-1, Seahawks are 4-5. You lose this game, it's going to be a real hard uphill battle the rest of the year. So Packers would obviously, I want them to, would love for them to get a win. I'm not sure how confident I am in that. I love that Aaron Jones has been showing us something, though, because adding a run game to Aaron Rodgers just makes the pass game more dangerous. I was looking at stats recently. The thing that Packers need to do better this season is just, it sounds arbitrary, but score more. Like the Packers were always a team that you could rely on in a decent amount of points. Yeah. And this season, Rodgers just does not have that many passing touchdowns. There's I think 6 rushing touchdowns all year. The defense has made their waves every now and then, but this team just needs to start playing like a playoff team if we're going to actually talk about us being a playoff team. Otherwise, we're just kidding ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, how does it feel knowing that you have to root for the Bears on Sunday night too?
I'm fine with it. Yeah. All right, I actually probably won't be. I'll probably be.
It would help a lot if they beat the Vikings, because then I think you're probably in second place then.
Yeah, but it's kind of always fun to watch the Bears lose. So I'll probably be rooting for the Vikings. I am starting Trubisky over Cousins in fantasy this week, though. I had both of them. I was like, all right. Well, I think that the Bears defense forces turnovers, and the Vikings defense sometimes loses to the Bills. So. I'm putting my trust in Mitch.
Who the Vikings lost to this year? The Bills. They lost to the Redskins, I think, too, right? Who are leading the AFC East? So that's or NFC East, AFC East,
NFC East.
NFC East. That's what I thought. The Vikings' third loss was to, and of course now the Wi-Fi down here is going to choose not work. It was
tensions.
Killing me. They lost to New Orleans. So
the Rams, the Saints, and the Bills. They did not lose to the Redskins. They tied the Packers week 2, lost Bills, Rams, and then they lost to the Saints 2 weeks ago.
All right, so they lost to the Rams and the Saints. Those are 2 pretty quality losses.
Quality.
For as much as a win, as quality as a loss can be.
And the Bills.
Yeah, Bills, not a great look. But Matt Barkley just put up huge numbers against the Jets. But
everyone puts up numbers against the Jets.
Yeah, that's true. The Bears against the Vikings Sunday night got flexed. I'm really excited for this game. It's at home for the Bears. It's at Soldier Field. If they win this game, get to 7 wins, and still leading the NFC North, because this is, I think, is really the Bears. This would be their first
this is their first
real
test
win, because the Lions are mediocre at best and they didn't play well last Sunday. So I think this could be really good for the Bears. And then obviously you get the Lions again on Thanksgiving, and buddy, I'm excited. This is awesome. And now they got the Rams game flexed to Sunday night too, because nobody thought the Bears would be this good, and now they are. And obviously the Rams are doing what they're doing. So that's a huge game that I think a lot of people are going to want to watch, and that's on Sunday night too. I'm really excited because the Bears are so good.
Bears are so good. I did a little research.
Oh, God. Why do you do this to
They
me?
haven't beaten a team with a winning record right now.
Yeah, correct.
That's just a fact.
But you know what, man? It doesn't matter for multiple reasons, because Mitch Trubisky is a really good quarterback now, and he's fine. My thing is, everybody keeps trying to nitpick Trubisky's game now and find ways to be like, oh, well, the Bears are good, but Trubisky, we still don't know. He's thrown for over 300 yards 3 weeks in a row, and he's playing really, really well. And I saw a tweet today, and I forgot who it was, but his numbers through 8 games or 9 games is almost exactly the same as Cam Newton's numbers through his 9 games in his MVP season.
Wow.
MVP season.
All right.
So I would just like to say that. And the Bears are definitely a playoff team. I don't think you can disregard they're a playoff team.
I don't know.
They are a team that will fight for a playoff spot.
I just don't know, because I'm looking at the schedule, and you guys, there's a genuine chance that you have 1 or 2 wins against a team that ends the season with a winning record. I mean, Vikings, Lions probably aren't going to. Giants probably aren't going to.
You don't think the Vikings are going to finish with a winning record?
No. I'm saying the Vikings, you might.
Okay.
But obviously that game's yet to be played. But Lions probably aren't going to finish with a winning record. Giants probably aren't going to finish with a winning record. Then you get the Rams and Packers. Packers, they're 500 right now. That could go either way. Mm-hmm. But then Niners probably aren't going to finish with a winning record, and then Vikings to end the season again. The only thing that worries me with these Bears is sometimes you come to games, you see what happened with the Dolphins. Right. Even with Trubisky playing well, all of a sudden the defense, for some reason, the thing about the Bears, and it's not a tangible thing, it's they somehow always find a ways to lose.
See, I would completely give you that point, except that the bad teams, when they're beating them outside of that game at Arizona, when they were still figuring themselves out as a team, I feel they're stomping these bad
they've handled
teams.
them.
And when they're losing to good teams, it's by minuscule margins.
Yeah.
1 point to the Packers, a touchdown to the Patriots, and then
three to the Dolphins.
Yeah, the Dolphins, that's obviously a bad loss, but when they're beating these bad teams, they're stomping them into the ground. When they're losing to the good teams, it's not by a lot. So I think, obviously it's a favorable schedule, especially with the Giants and Niners, but I still think you can't really take that much away from them, because, they're still showing.
Yeah, they're winning the games they should.
Yeah. LeVeon Bell, let's talk about that in the last 5 minutes, because he didn't show up, so now he forfeited his entire salary for the year. And apparently his former teammates went to his locker, took his nameplate down, and started taking the stuff that was in his locker.
I didn't see this. So did it say what stuff was in there? I don't
there
even
was
imagine.
A pair of Jordan cleats that Bud Dupree took and made a video. It said, "Thanks for the cleats, man." And I didn't see anything else that was in there, but those were the most notable. They took his nameplate down. They took the cleats. They took, I think, some other I would assume just workout clothing and stuff, Nike gear and stuff like that.
Do you think they're pissed? I know I saw a thing with Big Ben that he texted Le'Veon before the
Le'Veon's
deadline.
Ignoring him.
Le'Veon didn't respond to him, and Big Ben said that he texted him something along the lines of "Hey man, hope you show up today. If not, you've always been a great teammate and a great man."
I don't know.
And to not respond to that,
I think it helps that the Steelers are 6-2 and have
it helps a lot.
They're have a 2-game lead in the AFC North, and they're still a playoff team. If the Steelers were in, say, the Ravens position, or they're 4-5 and they're struggling and they're kind of, trying to keep their head above water, then I think they'd be, the Steelers and the other guys on that team would be more upset, because they'd be man, if he was here, we'd be a playoff team, we'd be succeeding. But they're 6-2. James Conner's playing really well. The team's playing really well, so I think they're just all right, whatever. We're first in the division. We're scoring 31 points a game. we're having a really good season still. James Conner's doing his thing. He's been really good for us. So I feel like they're thinking we don't really need you right now.
Yeah. I mean,
granted, Le'Veon Bell's still an immense talent, and he'd certainly help them, but they're pretty good off.
Landing spot for Le'Veon?
I think it's Colts.
Think it's the Colts?
I think it's the Colts.
I've heard a lot of talk about the Niners.
I think the Niners like Breda. But I could
Breda / McKinnon?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, they gave McKinnon kind of a lot of money.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, the Colts have Marlon Mack, but I mean, he's a rookie and whatever. Right. And Le'Veon Bell is Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah. I also heard some talk about like the Ravens.
The Ravens. Apparently he had some suspect tweets about the Jets a couple of years ago too.
Like that he wanted to play for the Jets.
Like that he loved the green and white and all this stuff. So I mean, Sam Darnold and Le'Veon Bell would be interesting too.
It would be interesting.
And they're probably going to fire Todd Bowles. So new coach walks in there with Sam Darnold and Le'Veon Bell waiting for you. It's not bad.
It's not bad. Although but the Jets just have they're the worst position, the worst skill position talent in the league.
Yeah,
like Robbie Anderson's your number one wide receiver.
Great.
Actually, like I don't know what Isaiah Crowell and Bilal Powell is your running back duo. It's been your running back duo for so long. It just has never really done anything with that. I don't know. I think I kind of like the Ravens.
I kind of like the Ravens. I kind of like the Texans too.
I kind of like the Ravens for the reason of like, oh, like you wouldn't pay me, Pittsburgh. Like I'll go to your arch rival
you.
And like I don't know, Flacco or Lamar Jackson is, and whoever's in the plan. I either one.
Lamar Jackson might start this weekend.
I saw that.
That's awesome.
There's a great defense on the other side of the ball, and you have Crabtree as a receiver. You have some other pieces here or there. Le'Veon Bell can receive out of the backfield. He can help out a young quarterback that can't throw the ball too far down the field just yet. If he has Flacco.
Lamar Jackson and Le'Veon Bell would be electric.
Yeah. They think about when they line up the shotgun and run read options.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Pretty good.
So, I don't know where obviously I don't know where for sure he goes, but I mean, any place is lucky to have Le'Veon Bell. Unless you have a top 5 running back, I think that you should look at him.
Right.
Like, unless you're the
Rams or the Panthers I mean, I'm with you. I think that's right. I respect the heck out of Le'Veon though for sticking to it and not caving and just being like, all right, I'll give up that $14 million because I'm going to make 4 times that this offseason.
Yeah.
So I mean, I respect him immensely for just sticking to it, being like, no, I'm not going to put myself at risk. And I think the Earl Thomas situation definitely helps that.
Yeah.
Like being like, all right, I'm not going out there.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. So
that I felt so bad. Earl Thomas expressing himself over and over again. I don't want to keep playing if I'm going to get hurt, and then hurt, and immediately was just like so mad. He flipped off the sideline.
I mean, wouldn't you though? I mean,
I don't know if I'd flip him off, but I'd be mad. That's for sure.
Yeah, but all right, that is the end of our show. Thank you for tuning in. R.I.P. Tommy's car. Tati, thank you for coming. I know you were super excited from the elongated meh that you sent me. So thank you for coming in. Listen to Tati's crew tomorrow for the last show of the week and for a week because it's going to be break and we won't be back until Monday after this upcoming one.
Wow, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
We'll be gone for a while. But yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Thank you for listening. This has been Illini Drive. Tati, please hit that music.